or Vitor gets a title shot?
From what I've read, the winner. So that includes Chael.
Wow, Chael's about to set some records if he pulls this one off. Yeah, it's hard to comment on that one. I don't know. It's an interesting play. I'm kind of at a loss for words. You know? I mean, there's just a lot. I'm just trying to adjust to it. It's an interesting situation. I'd like to see how it all plays out, if it all comes to fruition. You know? And I'll be interested, very interested.
Let's play devil's advocate. If Vitor was to win that fight and get a middleweight title shot, would you have an issue with Vitor getting a title shot?
I can't say I have an issue. I mean, he's won a lot of fights. Obviously, there's been some issues, but I mean, if he passes the test and clears some fights in Vegas, all the more respect to him. And yeah, if he beats you, I mean, I think, of course, yeah. If he earned, I think he's earned the shot, and he passed the test and beats Chael. Not just the test of Chael, but the actual test.
Yeah.
I think that justifies him a title shot.
What about Chael though? He's obviously 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and if he beats Vitor, he'll jump ahead of yourself, Jacare, and others, and get a title shot at middleweight. How would you feel if that was to play out?
He beats Vitor. I mean, he's beaten the #1 contender, so yeah, I couldn't have a problem with it.
Well, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because everybody wants to see that fight. We had Chael Sonnen on the show at BT Sports the other day, and he was really fired up for the fight. He's really excited for it, and it's disappointing that we're not going to get to see that, especially because of what happened on the show. And I'm not a fan of what happened on the show at all. I think that I think it's bad enough when the fighters in the house are misbehaving, but the coaches should be setting an example. And it's all got a bit pro wrestling for me, and I'm not a fan of it. So the idea of getting those two in the octagon and getting that settled so it doesn't drag out anymore is more appealing than actually watching the fight to me. The Vitor Belfort replacement it's perfect. It's a great fight, and Belfort's looked like a beast in his last few fights. So we'll see how he handles Chael Sonnen. It'll be interesting to see if Sonnen can get inside his head at all and shake him, because we all know that if Vitor Belfort shows up as Vitor Belfort, he's awesome. But if he shows up a little bit less than Vitor Belfort, he doesn't look that good at all, and that's where Chael Sonnen could beat him. So it'll be interesting. I think Sonnen knows that it's the psychological game is how he wins that fight.
The fight's also going to be for a middleweight title shot. So how do you feel about someone like Chael Sonnen, who's 1-3 in his last 4 fights? This fight will be contested at light heavyweight, but the winner will get a title shot at middleweight.
Yeah, that's some unusual marketing, that is. I can't say I'm in support of that. I should be. I would say, because I'm a UFC employee, but I don't think Sonnen should get a title shot. And I think that maybe the UFC are assuming that Vitor's going to win that fight. So, I mean, because he could be a contender, and that's a fight that would sell. But Chael Sonnen's kind of become a caricature of himself now. I can't really take him that seriously, because he acts out too much. He's a bit too immature to hold the UFC gold, I think.
Yeah. So, responding to your first question, with them fighting at light heavyweight and then getting a title shot at middleweight, it's just like, what do I have to do to get a title shot? But at the same time, I understand that those two are big names, and Chael has promoted himself quite a bit, and he's one of the top fighters out there. And the thing is, like, you can't hate on him because of that, because he's got a lot of fanfare around behind him, and the UFC puts on fights that the fans want to see, and Dana White says that all the time. So, having said that, I can't be mad at him.
Do you think there's a fine line, though, in terms of giving the fights the fans want to see, but also being respectful to the fighters that are actually competing and clawing their way up to a title shot in that division itself?
I do feel that there is a fine line between that. and it can be seen as unfair, and it is unfair, but the UFC is a business, and you got to understand that too. You can have your case, you can plead your case, but it is what it is, you know. And you just got to remain consistent. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. And if the opportunity arises, that's the thing about mixed martial arts is someone can get hurt and you can step right in, and all of a sudden you be a champ. TJ Dillashaw, you know, or Vanderlei gets hurt, steps in against Vitor. Now they're gonna get a title shot should one of those win at middleweight. So I mean, stuff like that happens all the time, you know, and you just gotta be ready.
You know, Chael's wanted to fight both these guys for a long, long time, and I was sitting on my bed, and Jimmy Quinlan, one of my coaches, he went, "Chael's fighting Vitor." I went, "What?" He went, "He's fighting Vitor. Vanderlei's not. He's fighting Vitor." I was like, "Oh, all right." He's wanted to fight him for ages as well. Like, it didn't really. It wasn't like a big shock to everyone thinking, because obviously Vitor's up there and Vanderlei's a bit more down here. It's the same fight. It's the same fight. Vanderlei is dangerous on the feet. Vitor is dangerous on the feet. Vitor might have probably a little bit more athleticism and better on the ground, but if Chael gets him down, it's going to be the same story, in my opinion. You know, I've had that guy on top of me, and it's horrible. So for me, it's almost, and we're talking about this, it's like the perfect scenario for Chael. He beats Vitor Belfort. He's back up there. Beating Vanderlei Silva, no one cares. He just wants that fight and wanted it for a long time. And everyone sees it as PR. Oh, he wants it. If he beats Vitor Belfort, you know, Vitor Belfort's ranked second in the middleweight division or whatever it is, you could almost warrant he gets a title shot.
Well, the UFC have said the winner of that fight will, I mean, the fight itself will be contested at 205.
Yeah.
But the winner will get a title shot at middleweight.
There you go. So Chael's on the cusp of another title shot, you know. What
do you think about that? I mean, some of the uproar yesterday was, well, how is Chael Sonnen in yet another contenders fight when he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights? And what do you say? Obviously, you being so close to Chael, you know, he obviously coached you on Tough. What do you kind of say to kind of his haters, for lack of a better word?
He steps up. He's going to step up and fight Vitor Belfort on not that much notice. I know it's a change of an opponent, but you want to get in the cage with Vitor Belfort? I don't think so. There's not many people that do want to get in the cage. Chael has wanted to do it for a very, very long time. And he's had 3 losses. They've all been world champions. You know, every time he falls short, it's against a world champion. It's not like he's losing to contenders. So, you know, he lost to Rashad. It's the only time. And he had problems with that fight. A lot of things were going on. And you could tell in the fight he didn't even show up. So I think great. You know, I think fantastic for Chael. I'm real happy for him. He deserves a world title. And I think there's a lot of people that could say that. He's been around a very, very long time. He's fought a lot of people. And he's so good for the sport. Imagine Chael Sonnen as a world champion. Just imagine the speech. Imagine him with a belt and talking. It's going to be unbelievable. And if he can do it, you know, amazing. I think it's still a lot. You know, he's got to fight Vitor Belfort, then fight for it. It's a long time away. But you know, I'm backing him 100%, and I think he can smash Vitor Belfort. People write him off. I think if the fight goes his way, he can really hurt Vitor.